On Christmas Eve, my parents handed out gifts to the grandkids who made us proud. My kids got nothing, and my brother's son laughed. Guess you didn't deserve one. I didn't cause a scene, I just left. The next morning, I sent one text. Don't ever invite us again. We're not your punchline. My family has always operated on a favorite system, and I've always been firmly at the bottom. My brother Garrett was the golden child who could do no wrong, while I was the disappointment who could never do anything right no matter how hard I tried. When Garrett dropped out of college to find himself, my parents called it bravely finding his path. When I graduated with honors, they forgot to come to the ceremony because something came up. When Garrett got divorced after cheating, they blamed his ex-wife for not being supportive enough. When I got married to a wonderful man, they spent the entire reception complaining about the food and venue. I learned to accept it over the years. What I could not accept was them treating my children the exact same cruel way. My kids are 7 and 9 years old, completely innocent, absolutely wonderful. They'd spent the entire car ride to Grandma's house excitedly talking about what presents they might get and which cousins they wanted to play with. They wore their nicest Christmas outfits and spent hours making handmade cards for everyone in the family. When we walked in, my parents barely glanced at them before rushing to hug Garrett's 3 kids with exaggerated enthusiasm. That was fine. That was normal by now. I'd already prepared my children by gently explaining that Grandma and Grandpa sometimes get distracted and it doesn't mean anything bad. Then came the gift-giving ceremony. My mother made an enormous theatrical production of bringing out beautifully wrapped presents arranged in a golden basket with ribbons. These special gifts are for the grandchildren who made us proud this year, she announced like she was hosting some kind of awards show. One by one, she called out Garrett's kids by name with glowing praise. New tablets with accessories, designer clothes from expensive stores, gift cards with triple-digit amounts written clearly on the front. My children watched with growing confusion as every single gift in that basket went to their cousins. My daughter tugged my sleeve and whispered, "Mommy, did we do something wrong? Why didn't Grandma call our names?" Before I could answer, my nephew looked right at my kids with a smirk and laughed loudly. "Guess you didn't deserve one. Maybe try being better next year." The entire room went silent. My parents said nothing to correct him. Garrett smirked behind his coffee mug, clearly entertained. My mother actually shrugged like my nephew had made a valid point. I looked at my husband across the room. He looked at me with fury in his eyes. We didn't need words. I stood up slowly, gathered our coats, and helped my children put on their shoes. "What exactly are you doing?" my mother asked, annoyed at the disruption. "We're leaving right now." "Oh, don't be so dramatic over nothing. It's just presents. Children need to learn they can't always get everything." I didn't respond. I just left with my family. That night, I held my crying children close and told them repeatedly that their worth was not determined by what other people chose to give them, that sometimes adults were deeply unfair, and it had nothing to do with them being good or bad kids. My son asked quietly if we could still have Christmas somehow. We stayed up late baking cookies, watching holiday movies, and wrapping the presents we'd bought for each other with love. The next morning, I sent my parents one single text message: "Don't ever invite us again. We're not your punchline." My mother called 17 times that day. My father sent an angry paragraph about ungrateful children who don't appreciate family. Garrett texted that I was being ridiculously dramatic and ruining the holidays. I blocked all 3 of them permanently. 3 months later, my mother showed up at my door crying about how she hadn't seen her grandchildren in so long. I told her exactly what she did wrong. She denied everything, minimized everything, and blamed everyone but herself. "Your kids will get over some silly presents eventually. I haven't forgotten what you did," I replied coldly. "And neither will they. Goodbye." She left crying, and I closed the door permanently on 30 years of being the family afterthought.